All right, section 8.5, we're going to be talking about paying off our loans and how much do we save by paying them off early. So let's first of all go back to what we did in section 8.5. So you take out a loan for $10,000 at 8% interest for 36 months. Your monthly payment is $313.37. And I want to know how much is applied to the principal on the first month payment. So first thing that we're going to do is we are going to find out how much our interest will be on that first month. So we're going to take our total loan amount of $10,000. We're going to multiply that by our interest rate, which is 8%. And since this is months, it's going to be the first month out of 12 months because we have 12 months in a year. So we break out our calculator and we say 10,000 times 0.08, or you can do 8% times 1 divided by 12. And our first month's interest is $66.67. So we want to know how much is applied to the principal. So since our monthly payment is always $313.37, we will have more money going towards our interest rate to start off with. And at the end of the 36 months, more money will be going towards the principal, less money on your interest. So we take our $313.37, and we subtract from that $66.67 to find out that a total of $246.70 will be applied to the principal. All right. So again, that's just reviewing what we talked about in section 8.4. So here's some formulas. Again, this one should look familiar because we've used this one a bunch. I just used it in that last problem. For the final payment, what we're going to do is we're going to take the previous balance plus the current month's interest. And again, you could have paid your loan off like 5 months early or something like that. But what they do when you make your next payment is they will calculate that current month's interest and then pay it off. This formula right here, we will talk about towards the end of the notes. So we will be referring to this last formula. So that, when I talk about it, that's what I'm talking about there. When we're talking about the interest saved. So you can see that's the question we're being asked. So again, another table that's in the PDF book that I put online. But this is a 6-month loan. So the first 3 months of the repayment schedule for Doug's loan of $1,800 at 12% interest for 6 months is shown in this table above. And I want to know what is the final payment if they decide to pay off this loan on the 4th payment. So whatever happened, they ended up with some extra money and now they want to pay off the loan so they don't have to pay any more interest. Okay. So what we are going to do is we're going to figure out how much the final payment would be if we were to pay this off on the next month. So we're going to start off with our balance, which is $913.70. We're going to multiply that by our interest rate, which is 12%, which is a pretty high interest rate, but that is pretty common. So that's a legit number that you can pretty much expect to see. We're talking about months, so we're going to multiply this by 1/12. And this will give us our interest. Okay, so 913.7. We're going to multiply that by 12% and multiply that by 1/12 or 1 divided by 12. However you're writing that, it doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer. Either way, we end up with, I got $9.14 when I did that. All right, so $9.14 is what we should get here. All right, so now what we're going to do in order to figure out what the payoff amount would be is we're actually just going to figure out if I take this 914 and I add that to the third month's balance. So take my 913.70 and add to this the $9.14. we're going to end up with, let me just do this real quick, 913.7. We end up with $922.84. All right, so that would be your total payoff amount if you wanted to pay that off after the third month. Okay. Benefits to this: you end up saving money on your interest amount. Banks don't like it when you do this because they're losing, that interest amount goes to the bank. So they don't like it when you do that because they're losing out on some money, but it saves you money in the long run. So let's say if you got an $1,800 loan for whatever, something for a business, and business is picking up, and you ended up with a lot of extra cash, so you could pay off your loan early. Obviously you want to do that because it saves you money for your business, or even if it's just for your like a personal loan, it just saves you money. So if you could pay it off early, you want to do that, so you end up saving money. So there's one example. Now the next one here, so you have a 12-month loan of $1,200, 12% interest, with a balance of $816.04 after the fourth payment. So I want to say, first of all, if I pay this off with the fifth payment, what will my final payment be? So again, we're going to start out with our previous balance, which was $816.04. We'll multiply that by our 12% interest. And again, we're talking about months, so it's going to be, the next month will be 1/12. All right, so we're going to take our 816.04, multiply that by 12%, multiply by 1, divided by 12, and we will get a total amount of interest for the next month of $8.16, which should be no surprise because these two basically cancel each other out and just slides that decimal over two places. So that's the interest amount. We're going to take that and add it to our $816.04 previous amount, right? This is our previous balance, $816.04, and we're going to add to that $8.16. So plus 816.04, if you still have it in your calculator, add that together. We end up with a grand total of $824.20. So that would be your total payment for that final fifth month if you decided you're going to pay it off in the fifth month. Okay. All right. So in part B here, we want to know, this is where we're going to use our formula from the beginning of the notes in that box. And I want to know, if the monthly payment is $106.56, how much do you end up saving by paying off the loan with this fifth payment of $824.20? All right, so what we're going to do here is we want to start off with, now we know we have a 12-month loan. All right, so, whoops, forgot to switch over to my pen. We know that we have a 12-month loan. So what that means is we're going to take 12 months and we're going to multiply by 106.56. All right, and what this is going to tell us is the total amount that we would have paid for that loan, including all the interest and everything. So what we're going to do is, this is our total amount. We will subtract from this the sum of our previous payments. So we had already paid 4 payments, right? So it's going to be 4 times our monthly payment of $106.56. And then we're going to add to that our final payoff amount, which was $824.20. Okay, so this 12 times 106.56, this is the total amount that we would end up paying for the loan. All right, so if we multiply that, 12 times 106.56, we end up getting $1,278.72. So for that $1,200 loan, we end up paying $78.72 in interest if we paid all of the payments. But because we ended up paying it off a little early, what we're going to do is we're going to see how much did we end up saving in interest. So first of all, let's calculate how much did we already pay. So if we do 4 times 106.56, we're going to get $426.24. And then if we add to that the final payoff amount that we just figured out in the last problem, we can figure out how much do we end up saving in interest. So this right here, you can enter in your calculator. Just make sure you have the parentheses. All right, so you can do 1278.72 minus and then a parenthesis. Make sure you have this parenthesis here and this parenthesis here, because if not, what it's going to do is it'll subtract this amount, but then it'll add this amount, and we don't want to do that. So you want to just make sure you have parentheses there. So 426.24 plus 824.20, close the parenthesis, and $28. Oops, that doesn't look like an 8. Let me back up. I'll make sure this is readable. $28.28. So that is how much money you saved in interest by paying it off early. Okay, so you can see the benefit to doing this. You just saved $28 by paying off a loan early. And you can also see why the bank doesn't want you to do that. They just lost $28. And if everybody does this, they end up losing a lot more money. So that's the benefit for you and the downfall for the banks. All right, so the last one here, I want to go through this one with you just to make sure you understand that last part. So we're going to go back to our first example. Okay, so back to the Doug example. So let me just scroll back here to make sure we're all on the same page. So this example here, and we want to know how much did Doug save. Now, keep in mind that this was only a 6-month loan, so the shorter the loan, the less amount that you're going to end up saving, okay? But we are going to be using this number, so we want to make sure that we know that. And we also want to remember that we paid 3 months so far. So the monthly payment that we paid on this loan was $310.50. All right, so let's come back here to this. So first of all, it was a 6-month loan, so we have 6 times $310.50. All right, so that's the total amount that we would pay. Now we're going to subtract, what did we already pay? Well, we already paid 3 months. So 3 times the $310.50. Okay, so this will give us the amount that we have already paid. And then we're going to add to this that final payoff amount, which I forgot what it was already, $922.84. So $922.84. All right, so let's go through this. If we paid all 6 months, 6 times $310.50 gives us $1863, minus 3 times $310.5. This is a lot of calculator work. Just make sure that you're careful with plugging your numbers in. I got $931.50. We're going to add to that the $922.84. And again, plug this whole thing in our calculator, remembering to put these parentheses that I'm highlighting here. Make sure we got these parentheses in there. So 1863 minus, and then parenthesis, again, this open parenthesis here, 931.50 plus 922.84. Close the parenthesis, this one over here on this side, and we hit enter. And again, because it was such a short loan, you can see that the impact is smaller. It's not $28, it's just $8.66. So we didn't save as much money as we did in the last example, but it saves you something, okay? $8.66. It does save you a little bit at least. So again, like always, if you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, you got some homework problems to practice. And if you do run into any problems, just send me an email and I will get back to you.